Welcome to the Health by Haven podcast. I'm your host, Haven Quinlan. If you're a multi-passionate wellness enthusiast, then you're in the right place. I'm obsessed with learning as much as I can about the wellness world, and I want to share that with you. Each episode will dive into various aspects of health and wellness through inspiring and informative guest interviews with some solo episodes thrown in. Tune in for all things health, and let's have some fun, shall we? Is your home in need of a refresh? I don't know about you, but I love reimagining and redesigning my space. If you're wanting to liven up your space and level up your decor, be sure to check out Arranger Paints on Etsy. The shop is full of beautiful paintings, many inspired by nature, and all sure to give your home a custom feel. The paintings also make great housewarming or birthday gifts. I've gifted paintings from the shop and have a Ranger Paints artwork in my loft. As a special thank you for supporting the Health by Haven podcast, you can get 10% off your order with code HXH10. You can find the full collection of work at arrangerpaints.etsy.com or scroll down to the show notes for the link. Laura Banks is a nutrition health coach helping women build healthy habits they can actually stick to. Laura gives women the education and mindset shifts they need so that they can get in control of their food cravings, heal their relationship with food, and feel confident in their body. After going through her own health transformation, she now uses her knowledge to give others what she wishes she'd had long ago. I'm so looking forward to diving into our conversation. Thank you so much for joining us on the Health by Haven podcast, Laura.
Yeah. Hi, Haven. I'm so excited to be here.
Okay, so I want to start all the way back. First of all, why health and nutrition? How did you get interested in this world?
Oh my gosh, what a fun story. Did not grow up in a healthy environment whatsoever. Just was not ever something that I think my family and my parents understood. And so it was a surprise to all of us whenever I started caring about this. And, it's funny reflecting back, like if you think back to Laura in college, I was going to school to be an elementary teacher, and I did do that for 5 years before doing health coaching. And, my habits then were so silly. Like I would wake up in the mornings and slept terrible in the night before, right? Like woke up so many times. I used to wake up panic attacks in the middle of the night during college because I was late for class like twice. And then I was just so scared that I was going to be late again. So much to the point where I would like wake up in the middle of the night, jump out of bed, start getting ready, then realize it's like 1 a.m. And I thought it was 1 p.m. and I'm so late. And I'm like, no, girl, it's 1 a.m. Take yourself to bed. So I didn't get great sleep a lot, especially like my later years of college. And I would wake up in the mornings. I would eat ice cream for breakfast. I'm not even kidding. I had ice cream for breakfast. Cookies and cream, great value, was my go-to. And I would just eat it straight out of the gallon container. And I had, Coca-Cola. I drank like 3 Cokes a day. I would, never eat. I ate protein because it came from Chick-fil-A. They knew my name at Chick-fil-A when I came through the drive-thru, knew everything that I wanted to order. And so I did not have a healthy lifestyle. It wasn't until, and I will say during that time I tried. And what I mean by that is I thought that I needed to cut a lot of foods out. I thought that I needed to like skip breakfast and never have dessert. And so I was like really trying to like lose weight and, finally feel good in my body. I did not come from a thin family either. And so my weight was always something I was very self-conscious of. And then by the time that, after college rolled around, I had been teaching for like 1.5 years and then COVID happened. And so during that time, I had a lot of free time on my hands. I was not going to school and teaching at the time. And so I had a lot of free time and I started exercising and I started just like filming myself. There was a girl that I loved to watch. She was just a friend that I had from college and she would like put her phone up and record herself working out and then post it onto her Instagram stories. And so I was like, that's so fun. I want to do that. So I started doing that and it really held me accountable. And from there, it really just grew. It grew a lot and in ways I never expected, And so That's kind of how I got into it. It was by happenstance and it was by accident. And Shane always, my husband, he always says the person that he met is not the person that I am today. And it's so true. Like I am like totally a different person in what I care about and the lifestyle that I live. And for the better for sure. But that's kind of how I got into it.
Yeah, well, thanks so much for that background. And I feel like there's at least some transferable skills, right? To like what you studied in school, like being a teacher, and you started your career in teaching. And now you're teaching people in different health coaching programs and on social media about how they can better take care of themselves and feel good in their bodies. So I'm curious if you can bridge the gap for us, like from kind of overhauling your relationship with nutrition and exercise and deciding to start posting those stories on Instagram of your workouts to now you have this online platform where you're educating other people. Like, how did you get from A to Z?
Yeah, that's a great question. And honestly, the skills are very transferable. I thought for a while, I was like, I'm just like leaving behind what I worked for in college, but I so did not do that. I use so many of the skills that I learned as a teacher now in my health coaching programs and online. And so it's been a fairly easy transition because I feel like I'm just a natural educator and now I'm just educating on a topic I'm really passionate about. And so, as much as I love teaching about the water cycle, that just is not the same as teaching women how to finally feel in control with their food, right? So I feel like I'm very passionate about it now and I'm able to really get into my teaching now. And it was something that it took a lot of education for myself. Yes, I did get my certification for health coaching. I got it from the Institute for Integrative Nutrition, but truly a lot of what I know now is self-taught. It's
Mhm.
from all of the experiences that I had in my own life and how I overcame them. And now I'm teaching people, just like what you said in my bio, what I wish that I had known before. And so it's taking all those life lessons and everything that I learned that really did help me and make a difference for me and giving that to other people.
We are cut from the same cloth because I feel like there's just so much conflicting nutrition information in the world, so many things that are like, do this, no, wait, do that. And like it can be so overwhelming. And if you're trying to live a healthier lifestyle on where to start and everything. So, what are some of those common threads that your clients come to you saying, like, this is what I'm struggling with? Can you please help me?
Yeah, I think in the beginning it was they didn't understand what it meant to live a healthy lifestyle, which is great because I didn't either. I had no clue whenever I started what that actually meant. Like I said before, thought that that meant cutting out food groups, cutting out meal times. Like I just did not understand what that truly meant to live a healthy lifestyle. And so that used to be a lot of what it was. And now that I've really developed what I talk about on social media, the women that come to me, they're struggling with having a lot of guilt after they eat. Like they eat one
Mm.
cookie and then it turns into a whole spiral of I'm a terrible person. I shouldn't have eaten that. They go off the deep end for 3 or 4 days and then they try to get back on track. So it's a lot of that. It's a lot of the food noise, constantly thinking about food, constantly feeling like what am I gonna eat next? Gosh, I shouldn't have eaten that. Like it's just constant food noise and just uncontrollable cravings. They feel like they need to come home in the afternoons and raid the pantry and they just can't get enough. They're always thinking about the sugar, always thinking about what dessert's going to be. So those are like the common things that the women that I serve really struggle with.
Okay, so let's start with some of those sugar cravings. I know this is like a issue like America as a whole has, I feel like, with our food system and all these packaged foods having all these like added hidden sugars that I could go on a tangent all day about like how unnecessary they are. But let's start with that. If that's a common thread that people are coming to you with, like how do you get them started on a path out of that like vicious cycle?
I think that the number one thing, people think something's wrong with them. They think it's me. I'm the problem. I don't have enough willpower. I'm not strong enough. I just can't seem to say no. I just can't make the food noise stop. They think it's about them. And what you just said plays so much more of a role than what people think it does. It's that there's a lot of unnecessary sugars in our food that alters our gut microbiome and makes us crave these foods more. It's that our blood sugar levels are off the roof. They're up and down all day long long. It's that our cortisol levels are crazy up and down all day long. And so there's a lot of physical reasons. So what I give women is the knowledge around why are these happening for you? What is the root cause of the craving, right? It's not that you don't
Mhm.
have enough willpower. It's that something is likely physically going on within your body that is causing this. And I like to help my clients categorize their cravings into two categories, either physical cravings or emotional cravings. Because yes, sometimes we do feel sad and we want to eat, or sometimes we are feeling super happy and super proud of ourselves and we want to go buy ourselves a cake. But a lot of times it's not that. A lot of times it's that something is going on inside of our body that's leading to us having these cravings. So I start with the education and then give a lot of mindset shifts. Because again, like I said, people think something's wrong with them. I have to help them understand and help them backtrack away from those thoughts. It's not you, girl. You're not the problem. It's the fact that, maybe some of your lifestyle, maybe some of your food habits, and we can change those things. Like those are habits that we can just shift around and make some changes to. We can't change whether you have more willpower or whether you're mentally strong. Like we can't change your personality. And so we're not going to. What we're going to work on is shifting around your habits so that you can feel more in control with food.
Yeah, I love that. And going off of that, I know that you are big on like shifting from that all or nothing mindset with health and food and exercise and all of that. So talk to us a little bit about your balance philosophy and all things health.
Yeah, that's so good too, because that was something I really struggled with. And it was more what I realized about the all or nothing mindset was it wasn't just around health for me. I realized like my all or nothing mindset is about a lot of areas of my life. Like I'm feeling like I have to be perfect in my relationship with who's now my husband, but this was like way back when we were boyfriend and girlfriend. Like I was like, I have to be so perfect for him or this is not going to work. And it was in my relationship with God. I was like, he doesn't, if I have a drink on the weekends or I say one cuss word, then he's going to be like, I don't want her, like, get her away from me. That's not at all the truth. So, this all or nothing relationship was so much ingrained into all the parts of my life. And it took me healing it in one area to see that it was really broken in these other areas too. But in order to heal that relationship with, or sorry, in order to get rid of that all or nothing mindset, I really had to go back and I had to ask myself, what are the root causes? Like I said before, what are the things that are leading me to having this relationship with food? So much of it was my mindset. My dad always used to say to us growing up, he always used to say, anything worth doing is worth doing right. And what that meant for little Laura was anything worth doing is worth doing perfectly. And so it was ingrained into me at a very
Mhm.
young age that if I was going to do something, it had to be perfect or there was no reason in doing it at all. And he had that mindset around food too. And I think back to that relationship that he had with food and the way that my family talked about it. He always used to say, all right, we're going to get healthy. No more bread in our house. And they would completely cut out bread. No more soda. And they would like say they're not going to buy soda. And then they would be like, well, let's just go buy a soda at the gas station. And then next thing you know, there's like 400 bottles of soda in our house. And so it was like
Mhm.
either there was none of it or there was all of it. And so I had to like figure out where it came from. And then I was able to backtrack and say, okay, it doesn't have to be that way. It doesn't have to be all of that. I very much live by like an 80-20 lifestyle now, right? And
Mhm.
I know that the two Rose, what were their names? Two
Oh,
Roses.
Ashley and Amanda.
Yes,
Yeah.
they talked about the 80-20 lifestyle in their
Yeah.
episode that you just had with them as well. And so what that means for me is like it doesn't have to be perfect. Like, and I don't
Mhm.
track if it's 80% and 20%. Like, it doesn't
Yeah.
have to be perfect. There's no perfection in my life anymore, especially whenever it comes to healthy living, because it doesn't have to be in order for it to be successful. Like I went on my 30-pound weight loss journey, and through that, I learned that I can still have ice cream if I want to have ice cream. I can still have all of these things that I want to have and lose weight at the same time. And that is so freeing, right? Like that just brings about a lot of peace.
Yeah, well, because the what you're talking about is like the added stress is not healthy if you're like always stressed about like everything has to be perfect. Because then if you mess up once, it's like so much easier just throwing the towel on everything instead of be like, okay, I'm gonna enjoy this one cookie and then I'm gonna move on about my day and I'm gonna go back to my smoothie or whatever it may be. So I love that you have this like balanced mindset around nutrition and I very much agree with you on that. And so when you're working with clients on maybe weight loss is their goal and they're trying to get into like healthy habits around food, do you help them build meal plans? Like what does that look like?
That's a really good question because really I don't help them with the specifics of the meal plan. Now, I have a program that is all about meal planning and it's just kind of given to you. It's for people who like have a pretty good understanding of healthy living or is their first step to getting
Mm.
into healthy living. And it's just me giving you recipes, me giving you the meal plan and saying, "Hey, here, go do this." Whenever it comes to like physically working with me in my group coaching program, that's whenever I'm, like I said before, really getting you the education. So I'm teaching you. You know, we always talk about, well, about well-balanced plate has protein and fiber and healthy fats. I'm teaching you why. Why do you want those things on your plate? Because especially as a teacher with that background, you know, as a third grade teacher, I used to teach multiplication. I could teach a kid all day long that 6 times 4 equals 24, but I don't need them to know that. I need them to know why that equals that so that they
Mm.
can apply it to multiply 6 times 8 and 6 times 2. I need them to know how to do it on their own. My goal with health coaching is to help women feel like they can like take this and run with it and like they have an understanding of why does my body react this way when I didn't get enough sleep last night. Why does that lead to more cravings whenever I eat sugar on an empty stomach? Why does that make me feel like I, don't feel so great in the afternoons and like I need to eat an extra snack? Like what is going on here? I want them to understand the why and then start to apply it. So that's a lot of the work that I do is really educating.
Yes. Like teach the man how to fish instead of giving him the fish.
Yes, 100%.
Love it. So I'm curious, when you were studying at IIN, what were some of your favorite topics to learn about?
Ooh, okay. Oh my gosh, this is a throwback. This was like so I started IIN like right after I got married. Technically it started like a month before I got married, but I was like I will catch up. And
Yeah.
so I didn't do all of them. So let's reflect back. Some of my favorite things. One of them that I still teach about and it's a part of my group coaching program is like the purpose of the different colors of the fruits and vegetables. So I talk about it a
Mm.
lot on social media too, but like red foods are good for your blood circulation and blue foods are good for your memory. And so like the importance of including all of these different colors of fruits and vegetables into our diet and not just eating green fruits and vegetables all the time, and not just
Mhm.
having your go-tos that you eat all of these all at the same time. That was a big one for me. And then I would say the understanding that our health is not just about the food that we eat and the exercise that we do, but instead it's also about our mental health, our emotional health, and our spiritual health, and all of these things. Like, if those things are not healthy for you, like if you are in a terrible relationship and you hate your life or you hate your job or like you're just an unhappy person, whatever that may look like for you. It doesn't matter if you eat a ton of fruit and vegetables. Like at the end of the day, there's still going to be some things off because you're just not truly completely healthy. So I think that was one of my favorite topics because it was such a shift in the way that I had looked at life before.
Yes, I love it. I love learning more and more about how everything is so interconnected in health. And like you're right, your emotional health is so much more important than you would think and like is just as important as getting your workout in, getting your steps every day, getting your nutrition in. Like if you're not happy, like that is going to weigh on you in other ways. And so I love that.
Yeah, and like if that stuff is causing you a bunch of stress, you're like, oh my gosh, I have to reach this macro goal. I have to get this many steps per day. I have to do this. I have to do that. If that is causing you more stress, then it's not actually healthy, right?
Yeah.
Like we think like I have to do these perfect healthy habits. And again, if it's leading to more stress, it's not actually helping you be a healthier person.
Yes, definitely. So I'm curious, going from teaching, I know you're still teaching in a different facet, but you're also a business owner now. Was that scary? Like, what was that like?
Yeah, it was definitely very scary. And it still continues to be scary. I've
Mm.
been doing this for this is like my second year doing it, and I still measure my life in school years, okay? Because I've been in school since I was 5, and so
Yeah.
I still measure my life in school years. This is my second year doing it, and it still continues to be scary because it's continuing to push me out of my comfort zone. This is
Hmm.
not like nobody in my family or my life has ever decided to start start their own business. And so still I get comments from family members and, people around me that are like, oh, well, make sure your teaching certification's still up to date, or those little like comments that
Mm.
I just have to be like, oh, it is. My teaching certification's not up to date. I will not be going back to teaching. I loved it. I won't be going back. Like,
Yeah.
it's just like I'm all in on this.
Yeah.
But it was definitely scary in the beginning.
Yeah. How did you go from like, okay, I'm done studying IIN to like starting your first group coaching or your first one-on-one? Like, what did that look like?
Yeah, I had started posting on social media, like I said,
Mm-hmm.
back in 2020, and
Mm-hmm.
then I didn't go to IIN until 2022. I had
Mm-hmm.
been posting consistently on social media those 2 years before I even
Mm-hmm.
decided I wanted to make a career out of it. It was just like for my own personal fun, and because I realized that there were people that were like watching, like they wanted to
Yeah.
see if I did my workout that day, and that provided a lot of accountability to somebody who didn't really. Who had never been consistent with it in the past, that provided a lot of
Mm-hmm.
accountability to me. And then it just kind of spiraled into me talking about recipes. I started a cute little Facebook group called Balance in the Kitchen and was like sharing recipes in there. And so I had already kind of started to build up to it. And then at IIN, they have you like asked to do like one-on-one consultations with people. You're not like
Mm-hmm.
selling to them at the end. It's really just getting practice of like doing the consultations. I
Mm-hmm.
posted online on my Instagram stories and was like, hey, like I am doing this for my school, and is there anybody interested? I had 18 people say that they wanted to do them with me. So I was like, oh my God. So from that, I literally started charging for my coaching then. I started charging
Yeah.
like $15 a session. Like it was like nothing crazy, right?
Yeah.
But especially because like I was like not fully qualified, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I was like, there's this many people interested. Like this
Yeah.
is amazing. So my coaching business really started while I was still teaching. I did
Mm-hmm.
most of those discovery calls, and a lot of my early coaching calls were in my classroom. And and a lot of the people that I was working with were also teachers, just because that was the
Mm-hmm.
community that I had at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And so yeah, that's kind of like how it first started. And then once I left teaching, it was slow at first. I definitely thought that I was going to be like off to the races, like everything's going to skyrocket. And it was like slower than I expected at first. But then once I kind of got into a groove and got a lot more comfortable with it, things really took off. And it's been really fun watching it grow.
Yeah, I just love hearing about people's like career journey, especially entrepreneurs, because it's so different than like you. I don't have really a family that are entrepreneurs, so it's just very different and fascinating to learn about. So then where did the podcast come in?
Ooh, yes, my podcast, I got the idea for it. I will never forget. I got the name Isn't She Powerful? It just popped into my brain one day. I was like, Isn't she powerful? And that just came to me. And then I wrote the intro for my podcast on like the back of like an envelope that we had gotten in the mail. I just wrote it
Mm-hmm.
down like it just kind of like flowed out of me one day. And this
Yeah.
was months before I started my podcast. I didn't start the podcast until after I left my teaching job because I was like, that's too much. I cannot be
Mm-hmm.
consistent with it until it's my full-time job, which I knew going into my last year of teaching, I knew that that would be my last year teaching. Like I had planned on
Mm-hmm.
that. I knew that once I finished my certification, I'm doing this full time. And so I had the podcast, I got the podcasting equipment, and it sat in the corner for like a while. And
Yeah.
then once I left teaching, I was like, I want to talk in depth about this. There's only so much in-depth talking that you can do on Instagram. And
Yeah.
so I was like, I want to like really get deep with some of
Mm-hmm.
these topics. And so podcasting always felt natural to me. It just felt like the natural step in the way that I needed to support my people.
Yes, I love it. I could chit chat all day too, so I can relate to everything that you're saying.
Yes.
Okay, so for people who are listening who are like, okay, I'm ready to take my health into my own hands. I really want to get things started like sustainably for real this time because I'm assuming a lot of people start and they go through cycles and cycles and cycles. What advice would you give them?
Mhm. Number one thing, set realistic goals for yourself. So don't come at it and say that you're going from never working out, never eating a vegetable to saying, I'm going to eat vegetables at every single meal. I am going to exercise 5, 6 days a week. Like that's an extreme jump. For me, I didn't even focus on nutrition for the first like 3 months. It wasn't until I was like had a super consistent exercise routine that I was like, okay, let me tackle nutrition because that one felt really hard to me. Like I truly had no idea. Exercise, I'd been on a bunch of sports teams in high school. It's just like I'd always like been kind of I'd always moved. I'd always been kind
Mm.
of active. And so that one felt like an easy thing for me. And so I got really consistent with that. And then I added on the nutrition, and that felt just very sustainable. That's the key. You want something that's sustainable. And so focus on building goals that are really realistic for you. I call them Goldilocks goals. They're not too hard, they're not too easy, they're just right for you. And so focus on finding your Goldilocks goals.
I love it. Okay, I'm going to start moving us into some final questions. First of all, I'm curious, what's your favorite workout?
Oh, whenever I first started exercising, it was boxing. And I would like, I don't know why. It was like
Yeah.
so, and I didn't even have a boxing bag. I did it on my parents' carport. That's where I started working out. Because remember, it was COVID. Everything was closed. So I couldn't go to a
Yeah.
gym. So I was doing it at home. I did beach body workouts. I still do beach body workouts 5 years later. And I was doing boxing and I really loved boxing. It was like so fun. It just like it made moving your body really fun to me. And so that was my first, and now it's weightlifting. I love lifting heavy stuff and proving to myself that I can do it. Like I can, press these 15s. Like it just feels really good and really exciting to be able to do that. So it's weightlifting now.
So empowering. Okay, what are some of your favorite foods?
Brussels sprouts are my favorite vegetable. I don't know where that came from. I literally, it's so funny because I've never eaten a Brussels sprout until I started trying to eat more vegetables. I tried them, I like shaved them. Now, if you
Hmm.
boil them or do something like that, you might hate them. And this is such a controversial topic. Brussels sprouts, yes or no? But I love them. I'll shave them up and roast them in the oven until they're like crispy, and they are
Hmm.
perfection. So I would say that's my number one favorite food. In terms of dessert, that's like my favorite food category is dessert. That's like that. For a lot of my brand is that I love dessert and find a way to include it in my life. And so ice cream used to be my favorite, and now my body doesn't love dairy. So just chocolate in general. I'm a chocolate girl.
Mm. All of these things I can agree with. Okay, and any new products, classes, other wellnessy things that you're into lately that we should check out?
Ooh, this is a good question. Let's see. Let's see. Okay. I recently started using beef tallow as my moisturizer. I find that it moisturizes me so much more than like other lotions, and it also sinks into my skin better. So beef tallow has been a fun new thing for me lately. I started reading some different books. One of the ones that I'm reading right now is called Higher Self Habits. The book that I'm reading right now is called Higher Self Habits, and it's a really good book all about building habits that you can actually stick to and that
Mhm.
support your goals. And so, yeah, I would say that those are the two things that are coming to mind for me.
Love it. Okay, I've got some rapid fire this or that for you.
Okay.
Morning or evening workout,
Morning,
running or walking,
walking,
lifting or body weight,
lifting.
indoor or outdoor workouts.
Oh gosh. It's so hard because it used to be outdoor. Now I don't have an outdoor space to do it. So now it's indoor. But I think if I had an outdoor space, it would be outdoor.
Hmm. Juice or smoothie,
Smoothie.
coffee or matcha.
Neither?
Oh, all right.
I don't drink either of those. I literally just drink water.
Amazing. Pizza or pasta,
Pizza.
tacos or quesadilla,
Tacos.
salad or bowl,
Salad.
an early riser or night owl.
Definitely early riser.
Oh, I love it. Okay, Laura, this was so much fun chatting with you. I know you're going to have a great impact on people listening who are like, I don't know where to start, but I want to get started. So, where can people follow along with you? If you're accepting new clients, where can they work with you? Tell us all the good stuff.
So I am on Instagram at Laura B Healthy. There's a dot around the B, so Laura.B.healthy. And right now I don't know when this episode's going to release, but in April, I am hosting a free challenge. It's called Conquer Your Cravings and Break Free from Your Willpower Struggles. So that will be April 15th, 16th, and 17th. If this comes out after that or around that, then make sure that you join it. You can always go back and watch the replays. They'll be available afterwards too. And my group coaching program, Seismic Shift, will also be enrolling later this month. So make sure that you check all of that out because I would love to have some new faces in there.
Perfect. And we'll link it all in the show notes. So if you're listening, scroll on down. But thank you again so much, Laura. It was so fun getting to chat with you.
Thank you, Haven.
Thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of the Health by Haven podcast. If you enjoyed today's episode, please be sure to give the show a 5-star rating and leave a review. It makes such a huge difference in reaching new people and spreading the joy of healthy living. I would also be so appreciative if you subscribe to the show in the listening app of your choice so you never miss an episode. Your support truly means the world to me. Have a happy, healthy day, and I'll talk to you again soon.